As it drifts into winter, Ireland often becomes a place of twilight with its quickly shortening days and long dark nights. The low sunlight, when it does appear through clouded skies, casts long shadows. The darkening atmosphere has influenced folk superstitions, ghost stories, and many famous Irish Gothic writers, revealing tales of vampires, ghosts, and paranormal occurrences. We highlight a selection of Irish ghostly stories, especially for this time of year, some authentic, some rooted in folklore, but all undoubtedly scary. The haunted cottage of Cooneen, County Fermanagh. In the area of Cooneen, near the Fermanagh-Tyrone border, sits an isolated, abandoned cottage. In 1911, this was home of the Murphy family, who were apparently victims of poltergeist activity. Mrs. Murphy was a widow who, along with her children, began to hear mysterious noises at night. Knocks on the door, footsteps in the empty loft, and unexplained creaks and groans. Then, other strange occurrences began, such as plates travelling across tables, seemingly on their own, and bedclothes moving around in empty beds. Soon, more extreme and frequent paranormal activity began to occur, with pots and pans thrown violently against the walls and furniture elevated from the ground. A coldness permeated the cottage as mysterious shapes appeared and disappeared through the walls. The house became the talk of the area, and neighbours, local clergymen, and a local MP visited and became shocked witnesses to the strange events. A Catholic priest from nearby Maguire's Bridge performed 2 exorcisms to absolutely no avail. The haunting continued, along with the family's terror. Soon, rumours circulated that the family had somehow brought the demonic activity on themselves. With no local support, and now in fear of their lives, the Murphys emigrated to America in 1913. But the story did not end there, as apparently the poltergeist followed them. Their cottage in Cooneen, now a ruin, was never lived in again, and visitors say it retains an oppressive atmosphere. A haunted mansion in Sligo. On the Kildare Peninsula in Sligo, William Phibbs built a stately mansion, known variously as Seafield or Lisheen House. It overlooked the sea, and with over 20 rooms, it stood out as an opulent symbol, built at the height of the Great Famine by a man who was a cruel and unsympathetic landlord. By the early 20th century, his descendant, Owen Phibbs, is said to have housed a collection of Egyptian artefacts, including mummies, at the house. Seemingly, this stimulated the activity of a violent poltergeist. According to some servants, the house often shook and objects would smash into the walls at random. A ghostly horse-drawn coach was said to rumble up the avenue at night, only to disappear at the entrance door. Several exorcisms were apparently conducted at the house, yet the activity did not cease. The Phibbs family strongly denied the haunting, as it became difficult to retain servants. No one knows what prompted them to leave abruptly in 1938, never to return. Their agents organised for all the house contents, even the roof, to be sold off. It is now a ruin, covered in wild Atlantic ivy, visited only occasionally by those interested in its paranormal activity. A vampire in Derry. In Derry, in a district known as Slough-Taverty, is a grassy mound known as O'Cotton's Dolmen. marked by a single thorn tree. It is said that a vampire is contained within it. In 5th century Derry, a chieftain known as Abartak was notorious for his vindictiveness and cruelty towards his own tribe. He had a strange, deformed appearance, and rumours abounded that he was an evil wizard. When he died, his relieved people had him buried in a manner befitting a man of his rank. However, the day after his burial, his corpse, seemingly alive, reappeared in his village, demanding a bowl of fresh human blood, or else terrible retribution. His terrified former subjects turned to another local chieftain, Cottage, and asked that he kill Abartak. Cottage killed him 3 times, and after each murder, Abartak's gruesome corpse came creeping back to the village in search of the blood. Finally, Cottage consulted a holy Christian hermit for guidance. He directed that Abartak be killed using a wooden sword made of yew. He then had to be buried head downwards, weighted with a heavy stone. Finally, thorn bushes should be planted tightly in a circle around the burial site. On following these instructions, Cottage at last confined Abartak to his grave. To this day, the locals there avoid the mound, especially after dark. The Faceless Lady of Belvelly Castle, County Cork. Belvelly Castle sits prominently on the shore of Great Island in Cork Harbour. It is said that in the 17th century, Margaret Hodnett lived there. Mirrors were a status symbol with the wealthy at that time, and Margaret was known for her love of these, to remind her of her renowned beauty. She had an on-off relationship with a local lord called Clon Rockenby, who asked her for her hand in marriage many times, but was refused. Eventually, Rockenby decided that the humiliation was enough, and raised a small army to go to the castle and take her by force. He thought the Hodnetts, used to a luxurious life, would not withstand the siege. However, they surprised him by holding out for a full year before surrendering. When he entered the castle, Rockenby was shocked to see the statue of Margaret, skeletal and starved, a shadow of her former self, her beauty gone. Out of rage, Rockenby smashed her favourite mirror to pieces. As he did, so one of the Hodnetts killed him with a sword. After these events, Margaret descended into insanity. She was said to have sought out mirrors constantly to check if her beauty had returned. It never did. She died of old age at the castle. Her troubled ghost appears as a lady in white, sometimes with a veiled face, and sometimes with no face at all. Those who have seen her say that she looks at a spot on the wall and then rubs it, as if looking at her reflection. Apparently, one stone on the castle's wall has been rubbed smooth over the years, perhaps in the spot where the mirror used to hang. Belvelly has largely been unoccupied since the 19th century, but is currently being renovated. The murdered Jester of Malahide Castle, County Dublin. King Henry II of England had Malahide Castle built in the 1100s, and the place boasts many hauntings. In its early days, opulent medieval feasts were held there, and such events would not be complete without minstrels and jesters providing entertainment. One of the jesters, nicknamed Puck, is thought to haunt the castle. It is said he saw a lady prisoner at a feast and fell in love with her. Perhaps while trying to help her escape, he was apparently stabbed to death outside the castle, and in his dying breath vowed to haunt the place forever. There have been many sightings of him, and many visitors say they have seen him and photographed his spectral features appearing in the thick ivy that grows on the walls. Places such as Malahide Castle seem to be magnets for strange and paranormal activity, as many other supernatural occurrences have been noted in its long history. In more recent years, a portrait of a lady dressed in white had hung in the great hall of the castle. At night, it is said her ghostly figure would walk out of the painting and wander through the halls. Might she have also been seeking Puck out to rescue her from prison? Ireland is an ancient land with many tales of horror, ghosts, hauntings and paranormal activity, but I couldn't let you go without telling you my great-granduncle's story of the Kildare Banshee. The following events are a true story, the story of the Banshee. But before I carry on, let me tell you a little bit about the Banshee. The Banshee appears in the form of an old woman with a long white gown and long white flowing hair in the wind. She's often seen combing her hair. Some people have picked up her comb and brought it home, only for the Banshee to come crying at their window pane, waiting for the comb to be returned. The comb must be returned with a pair of thongs, otherwise the Banshee will snap your arm in two. The Banshee appears and cries to certain people with certain surnames. If you were unfortunate enough to have the name Mac or O in your name, the Banshee would come and let you know that somebody in your family was about to die. The Banshee has haunted Irish families for centuries, and legend tells it that she is a woman who is neither in heaven or hell, but stuck in limbo in constant pain, hence her cries. Let me take you back to the year of 1942, to a little canal-side village called Ballyteague in County Kildare. On that fine Saturday night in 1942, there was a grand céilí held at the local hall. Now, for those of you who don't know what a céilí is, it was a great social event where live Irish music was played, people danced into the night, and drink was taken. The Grand Canal Road ran all the way up to that céilí house, and on that fateful night, 3 men walked that road. The céilí was finished and had been a huge success. The 3 men had more than their fill of drink taken. Among them was a gentleman called Sonny Tierney. Sonny was a pleasant man. He loved a laugh, a great storyteller, a jig and a dance, a smoke of his pipe, and the price of a pint. The other 2 were Jester O'Donnell and Tommy McManus. As the men approached the Murphy's Lock Bridge on that Grand Canal, they couldn't believe their eyes when on the far side of the canal bank there was a woman, all dressed in white, glowing, floating in the air. Sonny Tierney, who was the sober of the 3, held the 2 boys back and said, "Lads, it's a Banshee. Get out of here." But Jester O'Donnell was full of whiskey, and he had no fear of any Banshee. "Go on, get out of here! You're only an old whore! Go on, away with you! We're not afraid of no Banshee!" Sonny grabbed Jester by the scruff of the neck. "Shut your mouth, Jester! You'll get us all killed!" Just then, Tommy picked up 2 stones and started to throw them in the direction of the Banshee. "Away with you! We've got no fear, no Banshees here! Get out of here!" And just then, the Banshee let out a cry that could be heard for miles around. Just then, all the water in the canal was raised up 20 feet high. The 3 men ran for their lives. They ran as fast as they could up the Grand Canal Road, all the way to Derry Bridge, without daring to look back once. There they stopped and vowed never to tell the story to a living soul. Within the next 6 months, Tommy O'Donnell and Joxer McManus both died in tragic accidents. The gentleman, Sonny Tierney, lived on to be an old and happy man and passed away in the year of 1988. If you ever find yourself in the dark of night, walking along that Grand Canal Road, in the village of Malahide in County Kildare, in Ireland's ancient east, put your head down and go as fast as you can when you reach the Murphy's Lock, because you know what fate awaits those who don't.
Hello lads and lassies, I just wanted to say thanks a million for watching my videos. And if you could do me a big favour mate, and hit that subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand side. That would be like totally awesome, dude. Because my channel has like loads of different accents and like voices on it, man. It ain't exactly rocket science now, is it? All you have to do is hit the little red button that says subscribe. So come on down. Hell, I got more accents than the state of Texas has rifles. Hey you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. If you're looking for any voiceovers or voice acting, with 40 different accents, all you gotta do is go to Fiverr.com and find me on the JP Wright voice. Otherwise, you're gonna be with the Gambino crew and sleeping with the fishes. Aye, and don't ye forget, hit that resubscribe button down there on the bottom right hand side, hey.